Hello, welcome to the video notes for lesson 4-4, operating with numbers expressed in scientific notation. This time we are adding and subtracting. These notes begin on page 15 in your notes packet. And let's take a quick look at the lesson target. I can add and subtract numbers in scientific notation. Now, this is actually not very true. We will not really be adding these in scientific notation. We're going to add them in standard form and then convert them to scientific notation. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at some examples of addition and subtraction, the old-fashioned way, if you will, or hopefully the original way that you learned how to do this. And before we do that, I want you to put a star up here and write this down because this is a big idea here. Remember to line up the decimals. When you're adding or subtracting, it's really important to line up the decimals. Now, some of you might be saying, well, the first problem doesn't have any. Yes, it does. Remember, if you don't see it, you can put it at the end. So, I have 45,000, and the decimal is at the end. Now I have 3,700. So make sure, some of you might want to write this backwards or just recognize that we have 4 digits here. So I'll start right here and write the rest. We want to line up our decimals so that all our place values are all lined up, and we can add these vertically. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 again, 7 plus 0 is 7, 5 plus 3 is 8, 4 plus nothing is 4, for a final answer of 48,700. Okay, now, next one, this is really important to line up the decimals when we have a really small number especially. So, what's nice about this is you can write it from left to right quite easily, lining up the decimals, because you just start all the way to the left. And start adding from top to bottom. 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0, 8 plus 0, that's an easy one. Whoops, actually, guess what? I made a mistake. We don't want to add from left to right. We want to add from right to left. So 5 plus 3 is 8. 7 plus 9 is 16. Now, we don't have enough room in this place value for 16, so we put the 6 here and carry the 1 or 10 of these units over. I think it's thousandths. And then we get 8 plus 1 is 9 plus 0. So our final answer is, what is that? 968 hundred thousandths. Okay, now we're going to subtract. Again, make sure you are lining up your decimals. So we have 45,000 minus 3,700. Now, some of you may have learned some different strategies for subtraction. The way I learned is if I don't have enough to take away, I borrow from the next highest place value. So, I'll borrow from the thousands, actually from the 10,000s, no, the thousands, and make it 4,000 instead of 5,000, and turn this into a 10, or 1000 minus 700 is 300. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 minus nothing is 4. For a final answer of 41,300. And then, again, with the decimals, 0.00875. Really important to line up your decimals. So, 5 minus 3 is 2. That's an easy one. I cannot take 9 from 7, so I'm going to borrow from the next unit above. 17 minus 9 is 8. 7 minus 0 is 7. Bring down your zeros. And a final answer of 782 hundredths. Okay, now that we've got some practice adding and subtracting really big and really small numbers, we're going to do this with our scientific notation. Now, here's what we need to do. It's basically 3 steps. Write this down. First, you are going to expand. You're going to write these numbers in expanded form or standard form. Then you're going to solve, add or subtract. Then you're going to convert back to scientific notation. All right, so step 1, expand. So I have 4.5 times 10 to the 7th power. So 4.5. Now I'm going to bring this over 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in other words, I need to add 6 zeros. Then I have 2.6, again, times 10 to the 7th, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or add 6 zeros. Now, I think with this, it's really important that you put your commas in every third number, because then that helps you line up your decimals all real nice and easy. So step 2, we're going to solve. So we're actually going to do our math here. So I'm going to write my 45 million and my 26 million, lining up my zeros and my decimals. And I'm going to add. And when you add, it looks like this. Carry the ones. So we end up with 71 million. Now remember step 3, convert it back to scientific notation. So I want my decimal to be here. So I got 7.1 times 10 to the, count your spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th power. There's your final answer. Alright, I want you to try the next one on your own. This is another addition problem. I'll help you with the expanding. So we have 9 times 10 to the 5th. So that's 9 with a decimal right here. And I move this over 5 spaces. So in other words, add 5 zeros. So that's 900,000. And then 5.3, oops, times 10 to the 8th. So I move this over 8 spaces. I'm going to add all my zeros. Put a comma every third number. Now, your job is to do step 2 and step 3. The last problem is a subtraction problem. So, and it's dealing with a really small set of numbers. So first step, convert. So I have 3 actually, hold on, I know it's going to be small, so I'll put it on this side. 3.5, and it's times 10 to the negative 2. So I go this way this time, 2 spaces, put zeros, put a decimal. And then I have 2.1 times 10 to the negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, put zeros. Now, let's do step 2. We're going to do the math. So I'm subtracting. So I have 0.035 minus 0.0021. I'll add a 0 here, so I have them all lined up. Now, I can't take 1 from 0, so I borrow. Make that a 4, turn that into 10. 9, 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. And bring down the 0, the decimal, the 0. There's your final answer. Whoops, no it's not. You got to convert it to scientific notation. I want the decimal here. So it's 3.29 times 10 to the negative, because it's a really small number, 1, 2, negative 2. Alright? Alright, we're going to do one more example over on page 16 of a word problem. So we have two word problems. One is an addition, one is a subtraction. I'm going to have you do, I'll work with you on the subtraction, that's the first one. And I'll have you do the addition, so write this down, on your own. Now it's a word problem, so when we're done we want to put our answer in a complete sentence. We can use our Bucks strategy. So first, at a given time, Saturn was 9.1 times 10 to the 8th miles from the sun, and Earth was 9.3 times 10 to the 7th miles from the sun. By what distance is one planet closer to the sun than the other? So, we're trying to answer this question here, so that's where I'll put my box. Underline and circle. I'll underline the Earth's distance. I'll circle Saturn's distance. Okay, there's no unimportant information. So last step, solve with a smile. Alright, so remember, we're going to convert, then we're going to solve, and then we're going to, expand, solve, and then convert back to scientific notation. So I've got 9.1 times 10 to the 8th power. So I go over 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Add me 7 zeros. Put my commas in, and I have 910 million miles from the sun. Earth is this many. So I add 6 zeros, commas, 93 million miles from the sun. Now I'm going to do my subtraction. So I have 910 million minus 93,000, million. And I do my subtraction, zeros, zeros. 10 minus 3 is 7, 90 minus 9 is 81. So we get a difference of 817 million. Alright, so if you're not sure how I did that, I borrowed the 1 from the 10 millionth place, put it over here, subtracted that. Then I had 900 million minus 90 million, and that's how it worked out. Now I'm going to convert this to my scientific notation. We want our decimal to be here. So 8.17 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the 8th power. Now we answer it in a complete sentence. So here's the numeric answer. By what distance is one planet closer to the sun than the other planet? Well, Earth is obviously closer because it's a smaller number, so the Earth is closer to the sun by 8.17 times 10 to the 8th miles than Saturn. Period. Alright, so there's my final answer in a sentence. I want you to try this one on your own. I'll check and see who does it. We'll add some points to your scoreboard for everybody that does it or tries it. Okay, this might have been confusing, so if you had trouble, go back and rewatch the video. Or you can come and see me for help or get help from a friend. Good luck, and we'll see you in math.